If you've already done the homework, you've seen some of this console output. You saw it in Java, you saw it in C++, and you saw it in Python. But let's focus on what console output looks like in Java. Even the simplest Java application requires a fair amount of confusing syntax. So for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to print first Java application on the screen. And to make that happen, I am going to open up my code spaces. Right? And our goal is to print out first Java application. And to make that happen, I am going to, it's taking some time to load, but I'll just go ahead and pop open the PowerPoint real quick so you guys can see kind of what we're looking at, right? And that is, we're looking at this program. So let's start with the syntax first. So this has a class file of first. We have a public static void main string args, and we're just printing out first Java application. So first off, there's a literal string. The literal string is where it says first Java application. Any string, anything that appears within two quotation marks is a string literal. The arguments are pieces of information passed to a method. Print line is actually a method. So you can see, or you can't see it now, but on the program, let me scroll back up to the program here. Actually, y'all need to see this, right? I'm scrolling the wrong place. You can see these quotes here. That makes this first Java application a string literal. It's passed in between two parentheses, which means it is passed into a method that's called print line that comes from the out object that is coming from the system class, right? Yeah, and this is a public static void main. We're going to talk more about that PSVM stuff in a little bit. A method requires information to perform its task, and the system class itself is the standard output or input device for a system. So here we have this explained. System is a class, out is a property of the system class, print line is the method, and these dots separate classes, objects, and methods. Every Java statement ends with a semicolon. Method headers do not end with a semicolon. We'll talk about that more in a second. But first Java application is a literal string that is the argument to this method called printline. And let's go look at that on the actual code. So what I want us to do now, we're going to close out this. And this is actually not what I was trying to open. We'll go ahead and use this right now. It's not a big deal. This is weird. I didn't mean to open this at all. I don't want to screw it up again. So, but let me go ahead and come down here. Let's just do it here. I don't care if it's here. So we're going to code first.java, right? And so here is a workspace that is, I don't like the way this looks. Let me go ahead and, don't save. Let's go ahead and see if I can reopen this. I'm just going to open it in Visual Studio Code directly, and that's going to make this work easier, I think. So give me a second to open that up. And yeah. Alright, so this is what Visual Studio Code looks like on a desktop, right? And I am going to open up the terminal. So we're going to view our terminal window, and there it is. Okay, so I'm going to do this again. So I'm going to code first.java, right? And hopefully open. Alright, there's nothing there yet. Realize that a Java file, so a Java class, needs to match the file name. When I type in code.java in Visual Studio Code, it gives me the first.java file name, and I need to name my class the exact same thing. If you guys are wondering what's happening, I'm looking for my mouse. I found the mouse. Okay, so I'm going to type here the class name that is public class Java. This is a class name, so it's going to get, that's not it. Public class, not Java. Public class first. Public class first. And this is our class here. There are two different kinds of structures to our code. And I'm not worried which one you code in. There's brackets on the next line, there's brackets on the same line. So like if I put the bracket up here, here instead of here, it's another coding style. Sometimes I like to put the brackets here just so you can see it, but I will say that Visual Studio Code defaults to putting brackets on the upper line. Just know that. So public static void main. You pretty much have to remember this line of code. I will explain it whenever anybody asks, but it's pretty much, you have to just remember those words. And then we're going to system.out.print line first, I don't know why I can't spell first ever, first Java application. When you do this and you run it, you can actually, if you're using Visual Studio Code on the desktop, you can just run it this way, right? It should print to the screen. Okay, you know what? This is why we have a command line. javac first.java. I feel like, I don't know. dir. Okay. I don't know why this is not working. First.java, we're just going to save this file. Alright, there it is. And then I'm just going to run it. Maybe that's the problem. Alright. There it is. First Java application. I'm not sure what just happened. Usually javac works. I don't know. But here it is. I will tell you a couple of features about Visual Studio Code. This here is just telling us there is a variable that is x. That's the parameter that println is calling. We're passing in this as a literal. You can't modify x. It comes from the println statement itself, and it's just a feature of Visual Studio Code. But this is your first program. If you coded that with me, good job. And we are going to stop the video here.